Mhm.
I'm definitely like shaking. Like it is really scary to reveal like, hi, I'm a submissive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think
World.
about what going to work on Monday and it's like, oh, did you see the podcast? Okay. This is Erotic Reclamation.
Space where desire isn't shameful, boundaries are a turn on, and curiosity is welcome wherever it leads. I'm Nicholette.
And I'm Kari. And we're here to have honest conversations about sex, kink, relationships, aliveness, being in a body, and all the weirdness that entails, and pleasure that heals.
Because these electrifying, liberating, ecstatic, but misunderstood parts of the human experience are too good to hide. Today we're talking about submission. Is it something that's important to both of us and also something that we both identify as? But we both identify as it in our own ways. And it's one of those taboo things that uh is in the culture, but also I think is still elusive to a lot of people, and to the people who talk about it um sometimes seem kind of far away. Like, that's my experience. Like, I listen to podcasts or I see movies and, like, they still seem sort of far away, and it's like, okay, we're people. We're just people who have been exploring kink in our own ways, and submission is something that's important to us, and, wanna make it accessible to you.
Mhm. It's funny that you said that because I was like, it's taboo, but at the same time, it's like weirdly accepted
Mhm.
and but also not. It's like that far away metaphor. It's like something that like a lot of people have felt like some desire pull tug towards some amount of a dynamic that might have power exchange or and so it's like this funny little thing and I don't know if it's like sexier if it's kept in hiding if that's like people's kink but I'm excited that, we're talking about it. And I mean, had to get a lot more comfortable to get to this place where I feel open talking about
Mhm.
um, my relationship to sex, to sexuality, to submission. And we'll kind of go on a journey together and see what amount we share about ourselves and the way we think about it. And um, I think I'm excited just to start talking more about it because we do have a lot to say around this
We
topic.
do. We do,
Like,
yeah.
no shortage.
We talk about it with ourselves all the time, and people are now starting to come to us to talk about it for themselves, but, uh, yeah, I think reaching out to more people so they have access to the conversation feels good. I'm
Mhm.
definitely, like, shaking. Like, it is really scary to reveal, like, "Hi, I'm a submissive."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think
World.
about what going to work on Monday and it's like, "Oh, did you see the podcast? Okay."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I like what you said that, like, we're just people.
Mhm.
Not like we're fucking weirdos or I mean, we are, let's be honest.
We're weirdos,
We're
yeah.
gonna discover that. But we're just like then I don't know, we're the normal amount of weirdo and, like, everyone's a weirdo. It's some, like, I just
Yeah,
love, like, really normal and also love playing in the realms of submission.
and I think that in the early days, and, we can talk more about this and, like, go more into history, but in the early days when I was imagining submissives, I had all these very particular images in my head, like wearing the collar and being in a certain pose and living in a cage all the time, and, like, all these images that, like, that is what a submissive has to be and has to look like and has to do, but that was because it was living in my fantasies,
Mm.
and to be able to be a submissive now and also be a person in the world who has a job, has a career, is actually like a powerful woman in the world. I'd say both of us are that in our own ways. It's like there's a way to still, you know, get in the pose and wear the collar and be in the cage, to still have that, um, but not as like a cliche or an archetype,
Mm,
but to really discover what submission truly is. Like, I had to find what submission truly is for me, and, um, and I know you have done the same, and that's where we wanna begin. It's like, what is it for us, and how have we integrated it in our lives? And we've both done it in different ways.
yeah, yeah. You wanna share how that started to transition from maybe a more imagined fantasy into, like, a more, or whatever your words might be with that, a more felt sense, true sense,
Mhm.
aligned?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I'll say that just a brief history is that I think as long as I've been sexually fantasizing, my sexual fantasies have been submissive in some way.
Mm,
Um, and when I get at the core of the things that I truly desired and that turned me on and that got me like connected to erotic energy, it was containment, like whether it's cages or like some sort of containment, um, care and protection,
mm,
like knowing that I was truly held, um, being able to relinquish control and have feel someone else's power. And actually today, like the biggest thing that I've discovered in my marriage and subsequently my dom sub relationship, which I will talk about in a second, um, is that I equate his desire with power. And when I feel like he's asked me, like, "Do you actually what I feel is his power?" And when I feel his power, it turns me on.
mm,
So power is really a big one. Responsibility from the other person. So that's that like care and protection, but also knowing they've really, really got me.
mm,
And then there's this like where it gets freaky is like this real desire for defilement. Um, one of my youngest fantasies was like being in a cage with snakes.
oh,
Yeah. Right? And so it's like snakes are like gross and but like also is like, like saturated and like super just like no control and covered and like and but I saw it as gross. So it was like this defilement, but also just total like surrender.
mm,
Um and it's like I can't share with anyone that that turns me on, but yeah, it was like snakes. Um
dude, that's, like, gonna be a topic for a later conversation, is, like, early fantasies, because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, yeah." There's some it's interesting what kids' minds combine, right? Or
mhm.
kids, sorry. Whatever, we're gonna be talking about some shit that's gonna make people uncomfortable. We're talking about ourself as children, but, like, how do things get linked sexually and, like, what's
Yeah.
underneath it, I find just to be endlessly fascinating rather than, like, off limits. So I love that you are even just bringing so much permission to be like, "Yeah, I used to fantasize about being covered in snakes," and I'm like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's developed into, like, what now I can put the word devotion on it, like devotion and service, I love to be obedient. I love obeying. Like, I love being a good girl. I love I love pleasing. Love it. You got your good girl sweatshirt.
Mhm.
I love it, and I love being in service, like, in all the ways. So I when I first started to explore submission, it was in chat rooms, AOL back in the day.
God, so much just keeps unlocking.
I know.
The early internet, yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
When, like, that was the only way that I, could access it, and I go into chat rooms, and my first screen name was "For You," lowercase F-O or no, I think it was the number 4 and then capital Y-O-U.
Mm,
But so it was like, I really wanted to be for another person,
mm,
um, and I got to discover, like, what I was looking for in a dom. 'Cause, there'd be people come to me like, "Get on your knees," and it's like, "Hello, who are you?"
mm,
Like, I need to know you, I need to feel you, I need to, like, feel connected to you and, like, trust you before I'll submit to you, because if I'm gonna submit to you, I'm giving myself to you,
mm,
and, yeah, it makes me, like, quivery because it's a real visceral, um and very true thing for me to give to anybody. And, when I met my now husband, we, we met eye to eye, and I could feel his dominance. Like, I could feel his power, and I felt his heart,
mm,
and I felt my heart totally connected to him, and, eventually as things progressed, like, he had his hand on my throat, and it was like his hands on his throat, but it was on my throat, but it was, like, connected to his heart,
mm.
and I knew that I could surrender and, um, and really be all his. For me, it's been about a submissive I am submissive in my essence, like, I live it, I breathe it, like, I have I've done it sideways, like, I've, like, devoted myself to different men's purposes and different, you know, um, people in their I don't know, like, I've tried to open myself, and it wasn't, like, I wasn't fully integrated in myself enough to do it so that I stayed in integrity with who I am.
Mm.
Like, I'd, like, give almost deplete myself.
Yeah, like overgive or like,
Yeah.
um, mm, yeah, for whatever reason to make them stay, make them love you, or
Yes.
if you did it right, or if you were the most perfect, then maybe more attention or time would come your way when it just wasn't actually theirs to give you or align.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very, very well said. That's it. Yeah.
yeah,
In all of the above
yeah.
in different scenarios, yeah. So, to get to a place where I'm actually in my power and choosing this every single day,
Mm,
from my like, what I feel is my submissive power, like, it's still my essence, but there's a power in that essence. That's too. So now I'm in what is called a 24/7 dominant and submissive marriage. Um, and so I live this lifestyle, and I live it by choice. And I'm still somebody who, is running a business, you know, you and leading life and being powerful in the world and serving in my marriage. And so it's this really like beautiful balance where I get to be in my essence all the time and still like live a really full life. And I didn't think that that was possible. But there's ways in which it like seeps in. Like right now, I'm sitting on the floor and I'm on the floor on a blanket that is like that connects me to my submissive essence. Like I'm not just sitting straight on the floor. So it's like I'm connected to that while being here with you and whoever else is watching this or listening to this. Um, and because sitting on furniture takes me out of that essence. So I can go into the world and of course sit on chair. Like I'm not just gonna like sit on the floor wherever I go, but
I've seen her sit on chairs.
you have.
Yeah.
um so yeah, so I can do that too. But like at home, this feels like my place.
Mm,
It feels right for me. I actually feel more this feels wild. I feel more in my power sitting on the floor than I do sitting in a chair here.
mm, that's cool. Did it start that way or did it,
Mhm.
evolve into that?
It evolved. I'm really glad you asked that because
Yeah.
it took time. Like, I had a lot of resistance to yeah, to, like, living this. Even though this was what I wanted, I just, like, would fight tooth and nail the thing that I actually wanted.
Mm,
Um, so, yeah, I'd still sit on the furniture. I, wouldn't ask for permission for the things that we agreed that I would ask for permission for. Like, it was in agreement, like, "Yes, I'm going to do this," and I still wouldn't do it. And I'm not even a bratty sub. Like, it's like it doesn't even, like, turn me on to be a bratty sub, but I got bratty because it's scary, it's confronting to come into living in the thing that this is, like, a thing I've been imagining for most of my life, so then to, like, actually be stepping into it, was like, "Wait, I'm not ready, I can't do this, can I do this? Ah!"
mhm,
So yeah, it's a good I'm really glad you asked that. And it's so vulnerable. Like one of the biggest aspects of being a submissive is continually showing my dom and sharing with my dom how I'm feeling, like communicating my feelings. Because I'm ultimately making the decisions, and that's because that's the agreement of our dynamic. If he's making those decisions, I have to be really clear with what I'm feeling every single moment and be communicating that, which means being really vulnerable.
mhm, mm. It's like 100% responsibility while also like 100% submitting?
Yeah, but my responsibility is to submit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm taking responsibility for my choice to submit.
Mm. Transmit or, like, t show him where you're at in each moment.
Yes.
Mm. When or maybe you haven't felt this, but when do you find you lose touch with your power in
Mm.
submission?
Um, I have found this, so I'm gonna try to find a good example. It happens um, when I bypass my truth for some story that I've made up that, like, he's gonna want me in this certain way, or
Mhm,
he it's like I project on him,
mhm,
and I don't actually stay connected to my truth. And the thing is, like, every time I project on him, and no matter how much I believe it, it's never it's never actually what he wants, and it like, he doesn't like how I show up. So I'll be like, I'll get I mean, there are some times where I'll get, like, almost subservient and, like, walk on eggshells around him, and it's like, "What are you doing?" And it's not at all what he wants.
Mhm.
You know, he wants to feel my desire, my mm, mm, and 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 not just, like, the positive stuff, like, he also wants to feel my pain, my grief, my neediness, my what but if I'm like, "He wants me to be this," then I'm not in my power, and also, like, I'm not actually serving or pleasing or these things that I love to do, which give me power.
Mm,
That's seems weird that, like, serving gives me power, but it does. I feel really powerful when I'm in service.
mm. I love like, there's so much resonance in what you said even outside of, like, a dom sub dynamic, just in, like, a sexual moment, 'cause, that's those are the moments I get tripped up with intimacy with my partner if I'm projecting, like, "Oh, he wants my hips to move in this way that is connected to the most pleasure I've ever felt," but really I'm a little bit, like, sad.
Mhm.
And then I try to, like, do something maybe a little, like, in that vein, and he's like, "Hello, I just want, like, your truth." And
Mm.
so I find, like, some, like, deep truth in that of, like, oh, yeah, it's like the moment I leave myself behind, he's, like, not as interested. He's, like, less interested in the, like, "Oh, it looks this way," or "It's sexy," or it's just that I'm fully present with him in it. And I kind of hear, um being fully present with, like, where you are and him, not in the story or fantasy of.
Yes, exactly.
Mm, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a son of a bitch to do sometimes, I will say.
Yeah, 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 and, often it's because I'm afraid of my own truth.
Mm,
Like, I'm afraid to admit that I'm feeling, frustrated, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling needy, or I'm feeling, um, afraid, or really, really, really fucking turned on. Like, it can be scary to and it's, like, easier to, like, fall into some kind of pattern of, "This is what he wants, so I'll just do that," and then I'm performing over myself.
mhm,
Um, and then I fall into patterns like, I really love to cook. I love it, and I cook for him. I cook for us.
mm,
And, so more like traditional household roles is something that I love and I've desired, but I can also fall into those as a default
mm,
instead of what's like, if I'm actually being present, like, "Oh, I gotta make him lunch. I have to make him f," when, like, actually, like, if I'm present with him and I go in and be with him, I might discover that he doesn't wanna have lunch today, or he wants to, connect or just pet my head, or, it's like, that's if, I can actually connect with him, um, and I get weird and, like, subservient, like, into the thing that I don't want.
mhm.
When I get into a mindset of he wants me to be this way, and this is what it is to be submissive.
It's like the death of the moment. This is what it is to be submissive.
Yeah. Or
Softer, louder, brattier, primal, sexier, goddessier, whatever the fuck it
yes.
might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And relating that to any intimate relationship, anytime you go, "This is what it means to be,"
Mhm.
then it
Yeah.
instead of what does it mean for me?
Right now, 'cause that's even
Yeah.
changing. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Mm.
So what does submissive mean for you right now?
I like that for right now. 'Cause I'm feel very chameleon-like. Um, so my relationship with submission was something just like a little background context. Anything in the realms of kink, it was, like, not looked at until, like, my early 30s, I'd say. But like you said, oh, the fantasies were there, but
Mm.
the allowing myself to start diving into it didn't come until, like, my 30s, and, um, man, I just was in a job where I held a lot of responsibility and just someone who in the world just was very like, I can get shit done, make a lot of decisions. And so there was something that was like deeply nourishing in l- letting go of all decisions. And I
Mm.
found that, and that was like my initial, like, oh, like, actually, funny. This is like all about submission. I forgot my actual very, very initial interaction with kink. I was dominant.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I, which is kind of a long way that I'm gonna explain my relationship with submission. I just love all things power. I
Mhm.
love the exchange of it. I love clarity. I love roles. I love, um, ultimately, it's like an attempt for certainty, which
Mm,
is a funny and fleeting thing, which we can talk about later. And, but, being in a role of dominance, I found it just to be fun
mm,
and enjoyable and, something that I was quite good at naturally. And so then when I experienced being in a realm of submission, that's when I'd say my true sexual essence came online. And I was like, "Oh, I am good at dominance and it can be very fun." But there is something that lies, like, a little deeper to my, like, personal relationship with sex that is, um, lit up around
mm.
submission. Um, I am a brat. I love it. So, I, like um, I, like, love to hate things, and I love the contrast, and I love anything that adds, like, energy and juice to the dynamic, which can be a little friction sometimes.
Mhm,
It can be a little, like, make me, and then once I get to a place of, like, surrender, obedience, it's just, like, so devotional and so deep because it's, um probably a pretty protected space for me, like a
mm,
pretty small part of myself that I cherish and, like, really just want to share with my partner. And, um, a lot of my early exploration was single or part like, kind of in the evolving realm of sexuality, and it's I'd say answering the question of, like, where am I relation to submission now is I'm in a whole new exploration because I'm doing this in partnership for the first time,
mhm.
which is insane to say because like, people are like, "Oh, Carrie, the kink person. Oh, Carrie," and I'm like, I mean, yes, I live my life through exploration and but I'm also an eternal student, and so, um exploring submission while in a committed relationship has been a very different experience for me.
Mhm,
Um, and I'm happy I had early explorations in more of like friendships or well vetted partners to play and learn from because the degree of like, I've got to say, man, I have a deeper respect for any couple that looks at their intimacy and takes any steps towards having better sex, relating, or intimacy because it is a different level when it's with the person you wanna spend the rest of your life with.
mhm, mhm,
'Cause it's like, "Holy fuck," me sitting with my own sexual shame, me getting right with myself if I'm doing that with someone I don't know as well, or I might know them really well, but they're not my partner, the stakes are just they feel a little lower. And doing it with someone that I'm like, "Wow, I don't wanna do anything to screw this up or lose love," or whatever the fear underneath it may be, and now it's like, oof, it's, um it's been humbling,
Mhm.
but also amazing because then the positive side of that is the amount of safety that
Mm,
is at the foundation. And it's I think my relationship with submission will continue to evolve, but it's been very, like, playful, explorative, follow the flow and the whim of who's in front of me and, like, what the dynamic is gonna be and of something I put on and take off and change up and, I still relate to it as something I put on and take off. I don't necessarily identify as, like, my essence. It's like or something I step into and then step out of, but it is deepening with my partner because it's who the person I'm gonna explore this with for the rest of my life, and things that I used to want with other people, it's changed because I'm like, "Oh,
mm,
you," and so there is, like, almost, I don't wanna say maturation because there's something about that that, like, could be seen as hierarchical, because I will be honest, like, it's super fun, and I know you've also explored prior to your relationship,
mhm,
so, I really don't wanna put it as, like, a hierarchical thing, it's just, I think my submission will continue to evolve with where I am in life,
mhm,
and there will be different tones and textures, and I am entering into a more devoted, um integrated, woven into the fabric of my life expression of submission.
mm, mm. Hey, if you're listening to this conversation and feeling lit up, seen, or like, wait, how do I do that? You may be interested in our upcoming program, The Empowered Submissive.
Whether you're new to submission or experience, partnered or single, nervous or thrilled, we've designed this program to meet you where you are and then take you where you've only dreamed.
It's a 3-month intimate, high touch container. You'll do what took us years, unlock the power and pleasure that has been hiding in your secret fantasies.
Hot? Absolutely. Confronting? Likely. Divinely exquisite? All the best things are.
Find out more at eroticreclamation.com under our programs.
Okay, back to the episode.
So when you step in and step out, put on and take off, can you give a little bit of like paints a little bit of a picture of how you do that? Like, is there a ritual that you do? Is there a particular structure that you follow that you and your partner follow? Like how do you go about that?
It's changed again, depending on the situation, I find the most enjoyment in clearly defined scenes.
Mm,
Um, that just gives my brain like a lot of structure to follow. So, um, mental conversation first, like, okay, desires, boundaries, which we go into all of this stuff in all of our work, but genuinely, like, these are the things that would turn me on. What would turn you on? Okay, these are the things that are off limits and for this time frame. And honestly, a big piece for me is like the time frame.
mm,
Um, like knowing, or it doesn't even have to be the time frame, but like a clear end
mhm,
really then allows me to be like, cool. Because if we're exploring sensation or impact or something uncomfortable, even emotional play, and there's discomfort, knowing it will end is then like allows me to be like, oh, can I breathe through this?
mm,
Like, can I take more of this sensation? Oh, this is a temporary and passing state,
Mhm,
which can allow me to then um, release some of the parts of me that would maybe be thinking like, "Ooh, is this getting too long? Is this too much? Am I gonna be able to pull myself out of it?" So, I think communication, clarity, and knowing how the end will happen
mhm.
is like big pieces that then allow me to like unlock and flow.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
And in this stepping out, like, what helps you to transition from that, like, submissive headspace into, back to Kari and however you identify that, like, what helps you to do the stepping out?
Mm. I love humor.
Mm,
I fucking love humor. Like, I think it play, lightness, humor, it can, like, take something that's really heavy and really deep, which is beautiful, but then you just, like, pop the bubble with a little, like, champagne-y feeling or a little joke and I
mm,
can't always do that right away, like, depending on how deep I've dropped into meltiness is my, like,
mm,
favorite way to
mm.
leave a submissive scene.
I
Like,
love that.
unable to think, melty. So from that, it's more of like a slow my partner usually, like, brings me up and back a little bit, kinda like but also humor on the like, his part is
Mm,
just, like, really wonderful to me, and then, I love a debrief, but that's not necessarily important to, like, bring me back, that just is something I, like, nerd out on, like, almost the, like, highlights, like, "Oh my god, because it's such an interesting headspace while it's
mm,
happening
mhm.
that afterwards, I like to talk about it because it helps me remember. Otherwise, I might just be like, "It was lovely. It was soup the whole time. I don't have any idea." And so, like, um, helping, like, validate that something really did happen and, like, actions were taken, like, that is something that really helps kinda cement it into my mind and, like, end and integrate an experience.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But we'll see. I mean, as I play with my partner longer term, I imagine it'll be way more like, I don't think he and I are gonna be in, like, clear scene delineation all the time. I mean, we will still for certain things because 'cause we're both very, like, flexible and explorative, but I do imagine it'll maybe more naturally kind of swell and dip, and, we shall see.
Yeah. Yeah, in our dynamic, the natural swells and dips is how it flows for us. Um, but when you're speaking about, like, feeling the clear end, like, in an impact scene, although we don't necessarily work in clearly delineated scenes, in that way, we do there are swells and dips, and, I think what really helps us is this thing of not taking anything by default.
Mm,
It's not like, "This is how you look, your pleasure, and this is how I like it, and this is how you do your submission, this is how you do your dominance, and this is, we always do it this way." Um, and that, like, in the moment sharing allows us to be able to step into something that's gonna be powerful for both of us and really erotic and turn us on and surprise us um and also stay connected because if like he can if I'm showing him how I'm feeling in the moment, he can feel if something needs to, go longer, go shorter, shift gears, go in a different direction. So, yeah, so a lot of the similar things that you're talking about in your ways of stepping in and out, um, we bring, uh, and it's integrated in the dynamic, but when it's not there, it's very noticeable. So they're just as important even in a long term, like kind of ebbing and flowing, swelling and dipping. Yeah.
What do you can you say more, when it's not there, it's noticeable?
Yeah, like the turn on will drop or I don't know, like we're just both really good at like calling each other out if it's like if it feels like it's a default.
Mm, yeah.
Um and so like staying really tethered to my truth and my desire keeps it so it doesn't um like it doesn't show up and yeah, it's like I start performing. I start um I don't know, like going through the motions and we're both so sensitive, so it just becomes very noticeable between us if it's not real.
Mhm. Like, following a plan or a prescription
Yes.
or a
Yes.
escalator of a dynamic, and you're like, "Wait, hold on, I left my
Yeah.
turn on back here."
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not formulaic. I thought it was. I thought like, "Oh, if I do X, Y, and Z, then I'm gonna please him." No. And it's not fun if it's that way.
Mhm.
It's just not
Unless
f
he set it up that way to
right,
do
right.
XYZ. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, well, then it's really fun
Yeah,
because then I get to do XYZ just right.
perfectly, and get a
Right.
be
Thank
freak
you.
freaking score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, like, no, it's and I'm not actually serving, so, yeah.
Mm, it's very cool. I imagine then it keeps it very fresh, very I mean, that's the thing I think you and I are hoping to, like, show people is, like, kink isn't it's not all whips, chains, leather, and a plan, but those are all very much welcome and a part of it, but it's, like,
Mhm,
the way I relate to it, and it sounds like you do as well, is way more emergent, where all of the maybe underbelly or shadow parts of sexuality, of combining things that are not normally erotic, like, all of that is welcome,
mhm.
along with, like, both people being really, really fucking honest with what's really happening for them and really present with the other person.
Yeah,
And that too, I think, can be missing, is, like, really, really present with the person they're with, not using it as a way to escape their body or escape reality, which I have done. I have
me
definitely done, and it
same.
is
Yeah.
fucking blissful in its own right to, like, get out of the demons of my
Mm,
head through, like, intense sensation or mental domination. And so, like, no even, like, shaming in that, because there is a time and a place. I just found that that was not always the healthiest expression of it for
mhm.
me. Um, and
Same.
so now it's like my partner can help me with that, but it is an act of love, not an act of, um just can't be with my reality. It's like he can feel that it might serve me or help me and then help give me that, but it's still in like a loving, connected, like he's got me way.
Mhm. Yeah, it's great. I'm glad you dropped that piece in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I feel like we covered a lot of ground today.
so much. I don't even know if it's, like, cohesive, but again, that's what we're talking about. There's not a straight line, there's not a plan, there's
Not a formula.
not
Yeah,
a formula.
yeah, but and that I think is how you find it. It's like if you wanna boil it down, submission, there's some aspect of, well, let's find some words for it. So, like, wanting to give up control, um, usually there's some sense of, like, surrender or relinquishing control. Um, what are other kind of just sort of baseline aspects?
I'm trying to think about, like, a baseline, because like, for me, a desire to please is, like, a part of it, but I don't know if that's just the water I swim
Yeah.
in. Um, I don't know. I actually don't know what is at, like, the hearth or, like, the fundamental baseline. I find there to be some amount of freedom, again, but that's, like, personal experience. It's like, maybe, uh, stepping away from reality into something deeper or transcendental or ritualized but even
Mhm.
that's not necessarily always there.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, so there's some choice to like um yeah, like surrender control, and then there's all these spicy ways to explore it. You can spice it up in all kinds of ways.
Mhm,
And how far you go with it, how um simple it can be. I mean, I served tea once in the early days in an event. Just serving tea made me feel connected to my submission,
mm,
um, in, like, an erotic space, so it's like, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be sexual either. Like, submission can happen in a more platonic way.
mm,
The there are so many ways to explore it, so really being able to find what it is for you, and that, like, there's no wrong way either.
mhm. We could come up with a few. There's gotta be a few wrong ways, right? I mean, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, 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 I mean, yeah, that's like sure, if you're gonna
No wrong flavors.
yeah, wrong flavors,
No
right.
wrong flavors, which
Yeah,
I think we both really hold, which is also why it's like, "Ooh, we can't really come to a fundamental spot because submission in your body feels different than submission in my body."
mhm,
And I like contrast, and I like to feel the difference
yeah,
between submission and not. And yeah, be very curious to hear. Um, we're getting ready to embark on a journey with a bunch of submissives and to hear
mhm,
what, when they feel down into like the deeper part of what underneath the desire or the experiences they've had, like what is their foundation of submission
mhm,
rest upon?
yeah, yeah, that's beautiful, and I think that's a great thing to leave our listeners and our watchers with, as you're feeling into submission, what's at the core, what's at the heart of it for you, and you, I think we'll give that you can reach out to us, and, we'd love to hear from you, like, if you wanna share and have a safe space to share, "This is what submission is for me." Um, yeah, and you may not wanna type it in the comments or something, but you can certainly reach out to us, and we'll be your witnesses. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alright. Yay.
podcast. One.
Woo! Welcome, everybody. Thanks for listening to Erotic Reclamation. If this episode did something for you,
Turned you on, made you think.
made you feel a little less alone, subscribe, leave a review,
Share it with someone who needs it, and then come back for more.
because you get to want more.